There's a specific moment in your late 20s or early 30s when the free trial of being a human being officially expires. You don't get a notification on your phone, you don't get an email. Usually it happens on a random Tuesday morning when you wake up and realize that for the first time in your life, you can feel your body. Not as a source of pleasure or energy, but as a piece of machinery that is starting to show its age. When you're 20, your body is an invisible servant. You can starve it, deprive it of sleep, poison it with cheap alcohol, and push it to the limit, and it will always bounce back by noon the next day. You feel immortal because biologically you haven't yet met your limits. But then the shift happens. Suddenly, a night without sleep doesn't just make you tired, it makes you non-functional for 3 days. A minor injury that used to heal in a weekend now lingers for a month. You realize that you now have a budget of energy, and every choice you make has a biological tax attached to it. This is the end of invincibility. It's a profound psychological blow, because for your entire life, your identity was built on the assumption that your physical self was a constant. You thought you were the mind, and the body was just the vehicle. But now, the vehicle is demanding a seat at the table. It's telling you no. It's setting boundaries. The fear that starts to creep in isn't just about health, it's about the loss of agency. You begin to look at professional athletes or younger colleagues not with admiration, but with a strange, quiet grief. You realize that the version of you that could go forever is gone, and in its place is a person who has to negotiate with their own spine just to get through the day. We spend so much time talking about midlife crises in terms of career or relationships, but the most honest crisis is the one happening in your cells. It's the realization that you are, for the first time, finite. Most people try to ignore this. They buy more expensive supplements, they double down on the gym, or they joke about getting old. But behind the jokes is a terrifying question. If I can't rely on my body to be my invincible partner anymore, then who am I? You are beginning to learn the hardest lesson of adulthood, that your time is not just limited in years, but in the quality of the vessel carrying you through them. The unlimited version of you has left the building. Now, the real work of living as a mortal begins. While your cells are slowly changing, society starts shouting. In your 30s, the world stops asking you what you want to be when you grow up and starts demanding to see the results. It feels like a silent countdown clock has been placed over your head, visible to everyone but you. There is a sudden, aggressive pressure to reach milestones before the biological window slams shut. For some, it's the pressure of fertility, the terrifying weight of the phrase ticking clock that turns a personal choice into a desperate race. For others, it's the career peak, the fear that if you haven't made it by 35, you are professionally invisible. You start to feel like a product with a shelf life, and every birthday is just a reminder that you're moving closer to the back of the store. This social timer creates a unique kind of panic. You begin to make choices not out of desire, but out of fear of being left behind. You marry the person you're okay with, you stay in the job you hate because it's too late to start over, and you buy into a life that doesn't fit you, just to satisfy the clock. But the truth is, the timer is a lie. It's an artificial schedule designed to make you predictable, not happy. The real danger of the biological dead end isn't that you'll run out of time, it's that you'll spend your remaining time living someone else's schedule. We have to learn to break the clock. We have to realize that a life lived late by society standards is still a life lived, and often it's a much more honest one. The most exhausting part of aging isn't the physical decline, it's the mental friction. It's the gap between the person you feel like inside and the person you see in the mirror. Inside your head, you are still 19. You still have the same curiosity, the same insecurities, and the same feeling that you're just about to start your real life. But the world looks at you and sees a grown-up. This creates a strange kind of identity crisis. You feel like a teenager wearing a costume of an adult. You look at your peers, people with houses, mortgages, and children, and you wonder when the real adults are going to show up and tell you that the game is over.
You've lost the right to be young and promising, and you've been handed the heavy label of established. But you don't feel established. You feel like you're still improvising every single day. We spend so much energy trying to bridge this gap. We try to dress younger, or we force ourselves to act older and more serious than we actually are. But the friction remains. The shock of seeing a new line on your face or noticing that you are now the oldest person in the room isn't about vanity. It's about the realization that you are no longer the main character in the story of youth. You have moved into a new chapter, but you haven't read the script yet. Accepting this gap, admitting that you are an improvising teenager in a 30-year-old body, is the only way to stop the friction from burning you out.
If you try to fight time, you will lose. Every single time. The goal isn't to stay young forever. The goal is to become deep. The biological dead end is only a dead end if you are still trying to play the game of a 20-year-old. When you stop chasing the quantity of years and start focusing on the quality of your presence, everything changes. Yes, your body is louder now, but it's also teaching you to listen. In your 20s, you were a passenger in a fast car, barely noticing the scenery. Now, you are the driver. You feel every turn, every vibration of the road. You have the ability to distinguish between a fleeting thrill and a lasting peace. You have a perspective that youth simply cannot buy. The second half of your life is where the real story happens. It's where you stop building the facade and start living inside the house. Your value isn't in your skin or your speed, it's in the depth of the world you've built inside yourself. So stop looking back at the starting line. The view from where you are standing right now is far more beautiful. If only you'd stop comparing it to the fog of your past. Thank you for watching Pancakes and Paradoxes.
Until next time, look up.